Hi everyone, and welcome to this Stage 9 betting preview for the Tour de France. Compliments of goodforthegame.co.za. Yes, we'll be having a good look at Stage 9, which looks a really tough one to call a winner in, I can tell you. And also, of course, a recap what happened on Stage 8, because we had quite an interesting stage yesterday. So let's go to those rankings now. And Nans Peters, anyone find him yesterday? I'm not sure what price he was before the stage, but a brilliant ride by the AG2R Le Mondial rider. He had a nice battle on the final climb with Zachary, who got to within about 10 seconds of him at one point. But in the end, he was a little bit too strong on the climb, but it was really the descent which did Zachary in absolutely battles on the downhills, and in fact lost his second position as well. As far as the stage itself goes, it was one of those stages where a pretty non-threatening break went early, and it was quite clear that the break was going to win the stage. Now, we did call the break to win the stage, and unfortunately, the guys that I had in were more for a stronger break. They were sort of within 5 to 7 minutes of the leader, and the stage would have had to be ridden hard. Clearly, Mitchelton Scott weren't keen to chase down a big break. Things worked out for them in the end because Adam Yates managed to retain the yellow. Big news for me, just from a betting point of view, my main bet of the day was Yates to beat Alaphilippe. Alaphilippe cracked on the final climb. Well, he put it this way, whether he cracked or not, I'm not sure. He certainly sat up once he'd lost touch with the leaders, but not before making a little attack, which I think was just really for the cameras, but certainly gave me a bit of a heart attack, given I was on Yates. And actually, when Alaphilippe went, Yates actually dropped off the back shortly afterwards, but managed to fight his way back on as the pace sort of dropped a bit. Just a couple of mentions for yesterday. Pogačar, he had lost... He'd lost time the day before in the crosswinds. Well, he managed to pick back 40 seconds on all the contenders. As you'll know, I'm on this guy outright, I think at 14-1. I love him. I think he's an absolutely brilliant cyclist. He's not afraid to attack. And I was just cheering him on yesterday, hoping he could gain as much time back as possible. Bardet also made a late attack to gain a few seconds. And promising signs from our podium pick, Miguel Angel Lopez, looking pretty good as well. But all in all, the GC men kept their powder fairly dry yesterday. Interesting, Jumbo-Visma, I thought, showing a little bit of weakness. Certainly, Tom Dumoulin is no longer really in the yellow jersey hunt. But at the same time, that makes him a very strong domestique for Primož Roglic. Let's have a look at the outright betting then. We've still got Yates in yellow, but Roglic just continues to firm. He hasn't put a foot wrong. I'm very interested. Well, I would love to know why he didn't follow the second Pogačar attack. And apologies for the pronunciation of Pogačar or Pogačar, whatever I call him. I just can't settle on the pronunciation of the guy's name, and I'm sure either way I'm pronouncing it, I'm getting it wrong. But anyway, Roglic didn't follow his second attack, and I know the guys are, they actually are, I believe, quite friendly, and possibly there was something in that. But he did subsequently follow a Nairo Quintana attack, so I was just wondering, was he perhaps not at 100% that he didn't follow that attack? Or was it really just a case of, listen, this guy's still a minute 25 behind me. I'll worry about the guys who are closer to me. It may well have been the case. I guess we'll find out over the coming days and weeks, because if there is any weakness there, the other guys are going to have to try and exploit it. Anyway, Pogačar is the big mover. He's 7-2 in the betting now. I think he was 18-1 prior to that. So he's shown he's certainly not going to lay down. And as I say, he really does animate the race. Egan Bernal, he looked to battle a little bit yesterday, but ultimately managed to finish in the group. He's drifted now out to 5-1, lost second favoritism for the first time. Quintana, well, he's looking sprightly, and let's just hope he can keep on without having a bad day, but really enjoying the way Quintana's riding. He is at 12-1. Adam Yates, 18-1. Guys, I've said it before about Alaphilippe. Don't back these guys for the outright. Adam Yates, 18-1, not with your money. What is he for a place? Under 4-1 for a place. If I was a bookmaker, I'd go 10-1 and encourage as many punters to get on as possible. Adam Yates is not, I don't believe, going to run in the top 10 in this Tour de France. Just the same thing I said about Alaphilippe. Yates is a bit stronger, but I've got a bet involving him today, one that was pointed out in the Good for the Game forum, which is, I think, cracking value. Lopez into 22s, and then you've got Landa Uran, who showed some legs yesterday, and Martin, who's really impressed me. He attacked again yesterday, and I just hope the Frenchman can keep on rolling. Let's go on to Stage 9 now, and we'll have a look at this profile. It's another tough day in the saddle, but because of the end, the summit of the Col de Marie Blanc coming quite far out from the finish, you would think that this is a stage that is not going to be won by one of the GC guys. There's bound to be a fairly strong break that goes away. Now, if you have a look here, it's a pretty flat start, but just here after 9 kilometers, there's a 2.3 kilometer climb at 4.5%. And that is going to enable some of the stronger climbers who are not in GC contention to get into the break. So there could be a powerful break. Certainly Mitchelton Scott won't be interested in chasing the break down. They'll try and just control it and make sure no one that is a threat to the yellow jersey goes in there. And they'll then race on. They got the Cat 1 climb, 11.1 kilometers at 8.8%. That sounds pretty brutal to me. And straight after that, they go into a short, sharp climb at 3.8 kilometers at 8.5. Descend down to the sprint. I think the only way the likes of Peter Sagan and potentially Bennett will sprint for this is if they are in the break, and quite possibly they will get into the break to contest the points. But there's no ways they'll be climbing with the GC men over those two climbs. Then we got another Cat 3, 4.2 kilometers at 7%. And yes, up this final climb. Now, the final climb is going to be interesting. Obviously, from a break perspective, we're going to probably see whoever wins the stage is probably going to make their move on this final climb. And on the other hand, the GC guys are going to do battle on this final climb. Now, I would be very surprised if the GC guys are battling for the stage. It's not impossible, though. I mean, it could be a break with some threatening guys that goes in and just the GC guys ride hard, and the break could be caught. But my money is firmly on the break arriving today. But the GC battle is going to be quite something. And just to have a look at the profile of this climb, look at the percentages towards the top here: 10.5%, 12.2%, 13.6%, and 9.9%. So the last 4 kilometers of this climb are absolutely brutal, and it's an ideal launch pad for a guy to attack. And then there's a descent with a bit of flat. And yeah, it's an ideal launch pad because you can put proper time into a guy over 4 minutes, over 4 kilometers of that sort of gradient, and they may never see you again. And I also, by the time this part of the stage comes, it's unlikely there are going to be many teammates in play unless you were able to put a couple in up the road, which is not impossible. It'll be interesting to see if any of the teams try that. But basically, we've got a steep one there. So what about the betting on the stage then? Well, let's have a look at Sunbet here. They got Julian Alaphilippe, 4-1 favorite. Now, Alaphilippe, he attacked yesterday and then promptly dropped back. And then he not only dropped back, but he basically stopped riding in the sense that he was looking to drop time. He probably could have carried on and finished 2 or 3 minutes behind, but he lost minutes, which means he will get the freedom to go into the break. And I've got no doubt that he's going to try and get into the break today. So Alaphilippe at 4-1. Would I back him at 4-1? Answer is certainly not. I think he's not quite at his best. And aside from that, yeah, I mean, he did have a hard day yesterday. He was hanging with GC guys until quite late, and he'll be incredibly well marked as well. So for me, no, Alaphilippe, there's no value there at 4-1. Pogacar 9-1. Yeah, if it was a GC battle, obviously I think he would have a good chance of getting clear again on that final climb. Probably only Roglic could stay with him. But as I say, I don't see the GC guys contending the stage. Lutsenko, yes, 16-1. He's won a stage already. And I do think that he is more than capable, if he gets into the break, of finishing this off. And then Yukarthi, I see shortened to 22-1. You'll see on my staking plan, he is 25. He was 25-1, so there's been a bit of money for him. He's still a bit close to the yellow jersey for my liking. May not be allowed in the break. But his team, EF, will definitely be trying to get someone in the break because they're, of course, leading the team competition and will want to make sure that someone gets up there so that no other team gets, for example, a ride in the break and pulls 10 or 15 minutes on them today. Formula, he was also in my staking plan yesterday. He's also shortened from 25-1 till 22-1. I can't even remember if I put him in today. I was umming and ahhing about it before I recorded the show. And yeah, you can go down. It really is a tough day. I wouldn't go so far as to call it a lottery, but it's really going to be tough to find a winner. And in fact, my tactic today on this stage is going to be I'm going to have a few small bets now, which I'll share with you. But I'm going to wait for the breakaway, and then I'm going to actually back someone in the breakaway because, of course, it is in running betting. And yes, you won't be getting the 80-1 you might have been getting about the guy, but you might still get 12-1, and at least you know he's actually a runner. So that's going to be my tactic today. Just want to point out one bet, and let's just see if it's shortened as well, because I've backed it. Not that I'm such a big punter, but I want to see race specials. This was tipped on the Goodforthegame forum. It's still here. Rider to be awarded yellow after the stage. Adam Yates, no, at 11-5. And just to pop onto the Goodforthegame forum, and there is a link to the forum down below if you'd like to subscribe to the Goodforthegame forum. Not even subscribe. You can follow it without subscribing. But punters post their bets here, and we've got Kamikaze Kamal here if you want to follow him on Twitter. he points out that there's bonus seconds at the top, which although I don't see the GC guys racing for those, but he says Adam Yates to wear the yellow jersey, no, at 11-5, and I think this is an absolutely cracking bet. And you'll see now I have put it in my staking plan. Let's have a look here. Put it up there. Right. My staking plan. I'm going to start at the bottom. I'm going 2.5 units. Adam Yates, yellow jersey, no, Sunbet at 11-5. I'm going to be straight. I'm thinking of doubling this bet up and going 5 units, which is a pretty big play for me on cycling. I don't see Yates hanging with the GC battle over the top of this climb that we looked at there, that steep thing. He was really, the only reason Yates didn't lose yellow yesterday was I don't believe Rogic was really that keen on taking yellow at that point. I think that changes now. Tomorrow's the day they do all the COVID testing. And I think anybody now will want to be in yellow and stay in yellow, because if the race should end for any reason, you would, I suppose, be declared the Tour de France winner. But bottom line is I can't see Yates staying with the big boys over the steep gradients at the top of that final climb. He's got decent legs. They're not great legs, though. And for me, he loses the yellow jersey today. And I actually rubbed my eyes. I couldn't believe I was getting effectively 22-10 on that, because I was going to tip this anyway, but I honestly thought I'd be tipping it closer to the even money mark. So 11-5 is an absolutely cracking bet there. Here are my stage picks, very small bets, half a unit on Lutsenko at 16-1. Prestige Banu, quarter unit at 50-1. Hard to know what to make of him at the moment. And then I took the half unit on Carthy at 25-1. That has now shortened into 22s. It should be an excellent stage again. Do subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so yet. And let me know who you think is going to win the stage. I will post my bets again down below in the comments column. And if I add anything today, I will post it on the Goodforthegame forum and in the comments column below. But I'd love to hear from you who you fancy to win the stage. And we should be in for another good day's racing. I'm certainly looking forward to that final climb. And unfortunately for him, I don't see Adam Yates in yellow. Maybe that's fortunate for him, given some of my punting form. But anyway, enjoy the stage, everyone, and we'll see you on Tuesday for the next one. And also, we're going to be doing a rest day program. I'm going to be speaking with Groot Lem at Groot Lem on Twitter. We'll be having a chat about the Tour de France in general and where it's going from here. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you Tuesday or Monday night.